You are listening to Knackers in the Breeze, the podcast, with your hosts, Ryan and Barry.
Would you rather have cheddar cheese for knees, or a talking dog that only speaks in Portuguese? Or to make yourself feel really dry, would you towel dry between your thighs, or dangle out your knackers in the breeze?
Welcome to episode 22 of Knackers in the Breeze with me, Ryan.
And me, the Barry.
This is the podcast where we attempt to achieve philosophical enlightenment by answering questions sent in by our listeners.
Posed by the listeners.
Last week was 4th of July, American special.
Yeah, what a day that was. What an episode that was. Sparks and fireworks flew. Red, white and blue. We wore it.
Yeah.
And I've been wearing that tie, my American themed tie, every day since to work.
You had many comments?
Yeah, it was take off that tie.
It's very unprofessional.
Doesn't fit our uniform policy. You're not even from America. You don't even understand what 4th of July is about.
You're not even wearing it correctly. You got it around your head.
Yeah, well, there was that as well, yeah.
Put your shirt back on.
Yeah, we hate American things here, so get out. Loads of comments.
You are working at the Iranian embassy, so...
Now that is a cultural, relevant, newsworthy tidbit for you, the listener. Because what I was thinking about this on the drive over here. Are we somewhere you go to escape current affairs? Well, yes, we are. But also, is there...
Do you mean this country or this podcast?
Oh, no, sorry, this podcast.
Oh, right.
Is it somewhere you come to avoid that, to escape? Or is there room for that in
I think
here?
we come here to find out current events voiced by ignorant people who know nothing and still have opinions, but
yes,
shouldn't.
Yeah, you're right, yeah. Because when you said that, I understood that it was relevant, but I'm not entirely sure why.
Don't know if it's relevant now or 10 years ago or...
Something to do with oil, tankers. I mean, I don't know. Welcome to Knackers in the Breeze, your bi-weekly insight.
What does bi-weekly mean? Does it mean twice a week or once every 2 weeks? Because that'd be fortnightly, wouldn't it?
Yeah, fortnightly.
We're aiming on fortnightly.
Bi-weekly doesn't, not bi-weekly.
All right, so this podcast is based around questions sent in to us, so let's not dilly-dally on the way.
It's one of our rules.
Never dilly-dally.
10 Knackers commandments.
So last episode we heard from a podcast called Fractal Fiction.
Oh, yeah.
We couldn't quite fit in a question, but we have a question now.
Hello, Knackers in the Breeze. My name's Chris from the Fractal Fiction podcast, and opposite me is...
I'm Alex, also from the aforementioned podcast. Long-time listeners, first-time callers. What I will say is you are now my go-to for gypsy fighting news.
But we've got some would you rather questions that we want to hear from you.
We've inputted some parameters into a galactic question engine, and these are the ones that have come out.
Would you rather have your arms amputated or have a 0.5% chance of any person that you touch dying instantly?
So arms amputated or touching someone, not necessarily definitely causing death, but 0.5%.
So this is similar to the X-Men premise.
I've not seen them. Are they X-Men or post-op?
There's it's an ex-lady pre-op who, if she touches people, they die.
Okay.
So she wears black gloves. She doesn't cut her arms off.
Oh,
she wears black gloves.
Is that not Umbrella Academy?
No, I have no idea. No.
Similar concept to someone.
Is it based on X-Men?
No, but it's superhero. I can't remember why she wears black gloves now. I think because she can
She likes the feel,
feel what they're feeling or something like that. But
why
yeah, she
she
wears black gloves to avoid her superpowers getting out of hand.
Well, I think
ironically,
the X-Men. The X-Men one was probably a metaphor for that she was scared of feeling true feelings or really connecting with people.
Okay, so you'd just lop them off straight away, would you?
So yeah, bye arms. There's no way I'm lobbing my arms off.
Well, we've already come to the conclusion that if you were a Freaky Friday situation in my body, you'd already lop my left arm off.
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
leave me bleeding to death just in time for the return.
So you can return back to a still
streaky Saturday.
Ideally, it still hasn't fully fallen off as you come back in. Then you catch the last bit of it come off.
So it's then still my fault afterwards because then I lost the arm. It's not already gone.
Yeah. It was fine when I left it.
Harking back to a previous question before.
Yes,
episode 9?
About 3 episodes ago. It's a blur.
It was on this podcast.
Yeah, so great question. Fractal fiction. I personally would keep my arms and wear lovely satin or maybe silk gloves.
Well, they assume that that's a bad thing. I mean, I'd pay to have that. If I touch someone, they could die. It could be like sort of like a real life death note. Like, oh, I'm going to touch you, but are you going to die? You've got a 0.5% chance.
Let me shake your hand, Mr. President. I think you're the greatest president the world's ever seen.
You got 1 in 200 chance.
There's a film premise here. Get work on the script. So yeah, I mean, it's a gift not a curse if you use it correctly, responsibly, and you can probably monetize it. We try and monetize all things, all curses and sort of deformities, don't we? And magical
I'd just
powers.
be trying consistently to keep touching Keith Lemon. 1 out of 200 times is going to go, mate, isn't he?
Wait a minute. So I keep forgetting about that part of the question. So 1 in 200.
Someone's going to die.
It's a no-brainer for me.
Just touch the wrong uns. Not in that way.
They need love too. Just
Take anything away from this podcast, it's touch wrong uns.
touch them wrong'uns with your DeLongan. So you've touched them with your DeLongan. What would you do? Would you lop your arms off or keep the arms?
I'd keep the arms because I think it's kind of a blessing in disguise.
I'd keep my
in a
arms
way.
too, and then we'd maybe try and kill each other.
Yeah.
And it'd be an arms race.
It'd be like a Russian roulette of like, bang, okay, you're still alive. Right, now touch me.
Yeah.
It'd be a really long Russian
That's
roulette.
how we monetize it. Pay-per-view, the longest game of Russian roulette ever, or potentially the shortest.
Oh, you've broken a rule of Knackers in the Breeze.
What, not to monetize?
Yeah, not to monetize all of our would you
magical
rather questions.
powers.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't help it. I'm sorry. That was, yes, our commandments are never dilly-dally. And number 2 is stop monetizing hypothetical magical powers, which we shouldn't have to have as a rule, but we do.
Right, so I think we should write down our commandments. We haven't got many. We've only got 2 so far.
2 so far. Well, 3. What's the first one?
Never dilly-dally.
Never dilly-dally, which for us is, we try and abide, but we don't. Number 2, stop monetizing hypothetical superpowers.
Number 3 probably should be number 1. The first rule of Knackers in the Breeze is you do not talk about Knackers in the Breeze. We probably should talk about it because then we could actually get some more listeners. Share it. We should change that rule.
Well, yeah,
So you should talk about Knackers in the Breeze.
So that's why we're not climbing those iTunes charts, because of our own commandments.
Talk about Knackers in the Breeze. Don't talk about Fight Club, despite me talking about it just then.
I'm writing this down. Okay, so first rule is talk about Knackers in the Breeze.
Yeah.
And don't mention Fight Club.
Don't mention Fight Club. And don't dilly-dally when you do it,
Okay.
which also goes into rule number 2.
Don't dilly-dally in brackets when referring back to commandment number 1, which leaks into commandment number 2.
We will get this written in stone.
Sorry. That makes no sense. Can somebody write that in stone, please?
Right, so that was a question from Fractal Fiction, which is a kind of an improvisational storytelling comedy podcast. I can't really do it justice by summing it up, so I'll let them do it.
Fractal Fiction Podcast is a sci-fi comedy romp. We basically make up bullshit on the spot and pretend like it's some sort of overarching story and that we're geniuses.
Yeah, so we improvise a story using the rules for a game called Microscope, and then we kind of try and sort of weave that into some loose narrative. It's mostly an hour of us doing poor accents.
Possibly offensive accents.
Mostly offensive accents, I'd say. So you can listen to us on most podcast streaming services, including Spotify. So yeah, give us a listen. That's Fractal Fiction.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Drive safe.
It is like it's nothing I've ever heard before.
Yeah, it's a very unique podcast.
I mean, in a good way.
Yeah.
It takes a lot more talent than
us.
Day 21 on the island. I spotted a bottle washed up on the shore with a piece of paper inside. I opened it up and there was a message inside addressed to me, and it said, "I know why you're here," followed by the numbers 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, and 42. What does that mean? Is someone watching me?
I have so many questions to ask that need answering. Obviously, there's no internet here, so I can't send a voice clip via private message to Knackers in the Breeze on Facebook. Until then, I will continue to journal my time stranded on this island.
Right, so our favourite part of the show is the feedback section, which we've got a little bit this week. So last episode we were talking about t-shirt designs, and we've had the first bit of fan art sent in by Rob, which is amazing. If you haven't seen it, go on Facebook, search for episode 21, and look at the masterpiece he has sent in. We got a bit of feedback from a listener called Tom, and he says, "It's a masterpiece. I would wear it as a t-shirt."
I believe he would. I'm sure he would. So, Tom, could you let us know how much you'd pay to wear that t-shirt, or how much we'd have to pay you to wear it?
How would you describe Rob's fan art?
For someone who's never seen it, at some point the line between childhood creativity and adult genius, it does blur. It does. So it's got that childish charm, but there's definitely got those adult themes.
Quite Picasso-esque.
That's where I was going with that. It's quite Picasso-esque. It's modern. It's a modern take on, on everything that we stand for. And there are some testicles in the picture, but really tastefully done, I think.
In the breeze of an electric fan.
Yeah, so very tasteful. He could have made it, just the right amount of hair on the balls. It's just, you can tell the care that he's put into it, I think.
Another bit of feedback is from a few episodes ago when Barry had his master game that he was planning to do, which was called Porn or Labour, but decided not to do it.
Through societal pressures and looking at the cultural landscape and probably realising that it wouldn't go down very well, I don't think.
So we've had a bit of feedback from Roswell, and she sent in 2 different messages. One is quite aggressive, and then the next one is like quite British. Okay. The first one is do porn or labour.
That's it.
Do porn or labour.
Oh, God.
And the second one is, I don't think it's a worry.
Oh, yeah, that's really considerate. I don't think it's a worry. Well, that's lovely. Thank you for that.
Fucking do porn or labour. It's nibble, though.
So it's not going to rustle any feathers according to that fan. Okay.
I also put a little poll on Facebook and asked the fans, should Barry do porn or labour? And last time I looked, it was 9 votes to 1 in favour of you doing porn or labour.
I mean, it doesn't mean I'm going to do it because that's just peer pressure, isn't it? It's just peer pressure. I mean, I might do it. I need to consult a few people and then I'll get around to doing it. I need to be able to justify it if I get brought up in the post-Me Too era. And also, I will have to trawl through possibly a lot of pornography or that kind of thing, that erotic filth. And it would taint my soul.
And it will paint you.
It will taint my soul.
Have you been planning this game for quite a while? Because you have been researching that side of it for quite a few years now.
It's not just a game. It's a novel. It's it's a film script.
It's an abstract piece.
It's a
bit of performance art.
Any way that you could express porn or labour, that's why it's taken. I've been working on it for so many years since the internet came out. Since it came out,
and in print form as well. Yeah. I used to buy the magazines.
Yes, just bit of a precursor. I mean, it's tough to sort of play that game or to hear the sounds through magazine format. But you can make
rustle the page in a sense.
Yeah, you can make a good guess by on their facial expressions and, like you said, rustle that page. And that's how you can sort of play the game if you've still got just magazines.
I forgot to mention regarding the T-shirt thing. So it was posed to us from the Father Would You Rather that we should do T-shirt designs. And this week we're going to look at my design that I have decided to do, and I'm going to give it to Barry, and he's going to describe my T-shirt design.
So folded piece of paper. Are you going to put this on? We're going to put this on.
Yeah, I'll put this on up on Facebook.
Wow. How can I describe this? It's a meditating silhouette. Unmistakably, he's meditating with headphones on. What really just captured my eye about this lovely, serene picture, his testicles, which are bigger than his head, dangling below him with a breeze blowing underneath him. But it does look quite a good design. It is good, isn't it? You've got to be happy with that. That's brilliant. That's merch. I mean, I've seen that on a mug.
Well, a mug is holding it right now. All right, so episode 23, Barry will get his design out.
How long did that take to design?
To come up with it, it's more the research side of it. That took from episode 1 to episode 21.
Yeah. You had to sleep on it for a year.
To draw it was maybe about 10 minutes.
I can see the hair work on the testes. Can I frame it?
Yeah, you can keep it.
I'm going to keep that and frame it in my bedroom. That'll be worth a lot of money one day. Stop trying to monetize everything.
Knackers in the breeze.
Hello, Ryan and Big Baz, self-claimed. So I was just listening to episode 21 of your podcast. Can't believe it's been 21 episodes. Nice one, lad. So I was listening to it in the gym. Oh my God, you should have a disclaimer, okay? I was in the gym and I spat out my water everywhere. Hilarious. Anyway, I want to call BS on you, Barry, with regards to never calling your mum by her Christian name. I have only ever heard you call your mum by her Christian name, and I won't say her name, as I don't know if it's public information who your mum is. But you've got to stop lying in your podcast, Barry. Enjoyed it though. Bye.
Right, so last episode we had a question sent in that involved, would you rather wipe your dad's ass every day for the rest of your life or scream your mum's name during sex?
Yep.
And we come to the conclusion that Barry calls his mum rather than her Christian name, but apparently you don't. Apparently you're lying on this podcast.
Apparently I don't. I mean, I'll be honest with you. There was a time in my life where I did call, and even now I might do, but only when I'm talking to her, talking to somebody about her. So if I say, "Mum, my mum this, my mum that," they'll go, "Who's she?" I don't know who that is. But if I go and let's say her name's Shaniqua, if I go, oh, Shaniqua, she's just over there, or Shaniqua's doing well, then then you know who I'm talking about instantly. So it saves any hassle. But okay, Jess is definitely becoming our kind of bullshit
police.
The bullshit police. Needs a better name than that. That was Jess, the bullshit
Bobby.
Oh, bullshit Bobby. I'm glad she's doing it, because even now I'm thinking, right, just stop chatting shit. Don't lie. And I try not to. But she's right. I'm not Big Baz. She's right. This is all a lie.
Are you medium size or?
I don't know what I am. I mean, maybe Commandment 4 should be, so the Knackers in the Breeze commandments. Maybe
Always measure yourself before you proclaim what size you are.
Yes. Concise and precise.
Welcome to Cooking with Knackers in the Breeze. Today we'll be making a successful podcast. First, what you want to do is get your cheddar cheese. You want to chop that in half. What that will do is double up as a pair of knees. He always still come for me. Not now, Rex. Next, you want to get your tea towel and you want to just put that just between your thighs and you want to dry it as much as possible. Alternatively, you could go outside in the wind and just dangle out said testicles. That is how you make a successful podcast. See you next week, guys.
Hello. You're a charitable little fellow, aren't you? So here's a question. Would you rather pay 10,000 people's outstanding parking fines or pay off one person's mortgage?
That was annoying. I forgot I did that at the end. But can I just say, we've had a question similar to this in the past, in previous episodes.
Have we?
But I can't remember which episode it was or what the question was. But the premise,
Brilliant.
The premise was very. The premise was,
or if it was related at all.
or if we even did have a question. But I think we did in a distant memory of mine. But anyway, what did you do?
So I can't figure out the maths there.
So
how much is a parking fine?
So roughly £60 if you pay.
Quid. Okay, so that'll be like 600,000 then, yeah.
Okay.
And a mortgage is roughly that,
if we
depending on the house.
I'm going to say this is sort of your average Kentish, let's say £210,000 mortgage.
Is this more of like a
£200
if the maths was equal? So if it's £600,000 for the mortgage and £600,000 for the parking fines, is it more of a thing with like, would you rather be charitable to loads of little twats or one big twat who's getting a mortgage?
I think no, there should be a disparity between the money. Okay. So the mortgage is probably a third of the amount of money you'd spend on all of the parking tickets.
Okay.
So it's more about maybe affecting the lives of 60,000 individual people or one.
Right.
But obviously their change is not as big as that person's change. Let's say for argument's sake, the person with the mortgage is a first-time buyer and they're young family and they've just started. They're a month in and they've got 30 years ahead of them. So they're crushing debt.
So this is like a family that's come in, decided to buy a house, kind of like hopeful for the future.
They got the dreams. They got the dreams.
10,000 people parking illegally, keeping traffic up.
60,000.
Probably preventing families from happening. Ambulances are coming. They've got pregnant women, but they can't get past because these bastards are parked in the way. And I'm there paying off their tickets, keeping them there.
Okay.
That one. No.
The old curveball.
Yeah, I feel like paying off a mortgage is like kind of like doing something nice for the one person that will affect their lives massively and they will be very grateful for it. Whereas parking tickets is kind of just like, oh, that's annoying that I've got a parking ticket.
I'd be really happy if someone paid me. I'd be like, yeah, wow.
Okay, this is a question to you then maybe. What would make you more happy if someone paid off your parking ticket for 60 quid or paid off your mortgage for £600,000?
Okay, well, two things there. Well, one, I would never be getting a mortgage for £600,000 in any time. In the
well, you would
future.
if someone else was paying for it.
Oh yeah, I'd double it if I knew you were going to come along and pay it. But no, you're right. Yeah, I think if I weigh those two things up, probably the mortgage.
Yeah,
probably the mortgage.
Yeah. So I think someone would remember that. Whereas if someone paid your parking ticket, it'd be like, oh, that's quite nice. Yeah, did that happen or did I just dream that?
That's true, yeah. That's the kind of thing you talk about possibly once ever again and go, I remember a time, this bloke paid my ticket. And they go, did he? You go, yeah, he did. He's lovely. Yeah. Oh, what story?
Did that teach you to park legally? No.
I'm just hoping it happens again.
Yeah.
It never did. Okay, well, yeah, I agree with you.
How many parking tickets have you got? Has someone paid for you?
I've got one outstanding at the moment.
One outstanding?
Yeah. And because I'm fighting it.
Yeah?
Yeah. The lines were not clear enough and I did not see them.
But you did cross the line.
Yeah, technically, I did. Can you cross the line if you don't know where the line is?
That's what this podcast is about, really, crossing the lines.
Well, you don't know where they are.
Yeah.
Well,
until afterwards, when you're on the news.
This is why porn or labour hasn't happened yet. Because I recognise...
You preempted the line.
There might be a line. I'm letting fear dictate my life.
Your toes are on top of the line. You're just your foot is waving across it. You don't know whether to plant it on the other side or not.
I know a way to do it. I've just thought, if I do it and then get somebody else to record doing it, and I'll just say it's their game. For legal reasons. This is their game. This is Shaniqua's game.
Your mum's going to do it.
Yeah, Shaniqua. Yeah. Sorry, Jess.
Listen up, Knackers in the breeze. Listen up, Knackers in the breeze.
Right, okay, Barry, I've got a question for you this week.
Hi, Barry. I've had a few people ask, why do we record our questions to each other and then play them over the phone instead of just asking them on the podcast itself? And for me, it's very simple. It's because I rely on the fact that future Ryan will be a moron and forget everything that I plan to say in the question. So here's my question to you this week, pre-recorded. What is your worst experience of drugs?
Good question. So you're just assuming that I have done drugs?
Well, I know you have drank alcohol on the podcast.
Which is a drug.
Which is a drug. And you just had a cup of coffee.
Oh, these are drugs. I'll be honest with you, disclaimer, don't do drugs. I don't, as an adult, especially in the last 6 to 8 months. So, when I have done, I've tried some marijuana when I was younger.
Did you inhale?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think the issue
was... No politics for you.
I think... Well, actually, might get elected. Who was it that did Whiz? Boris Johnson did Whiz. Did Coke, didn't he? And so did... Was it just Gove? Or
They're
Boris
all doing it, aren't they?
I think it was Gove. It was like, I only did it about 6 times.
Oh, yeah, because we've been trying to choose a new prime minister at the moment, haven't we?
Yes.
Well, we haven't, but the Conservatives have.
Yes.
And he was in the running,
he
and
was
so they
in the
leaked
running,
that.
He got to the final, 5 or 4?
Yeah. I mean...
but he was still in it. That wasn't the reason he got out.
No,
so.
it's just because he was shit.
Yeah, he's a scumbag.
So have you ever done Whiz and in the morning turned out to be a Tory?
Probably, yeah. Back in the heyday. So probably for me, it's probably when I smoked marijuana as a child.
Okay.
Age, 15 probably, maybe 6. I think 15. I think it was 15 or 16. And then I did too much of it too quickly because I didn't really know what I was doing. And it all hit me at once. And I was fully tripping balls. I was fully tripping. So I was seeing things, hearing things, walking. Well, I was on my bike trying to go home with my school uniform, tripping. Every now and then it would flash and everything would go to 2D and look cartoony, which is freaky. And I went home to Shaniqua, my mother at the time. She was like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, I've just done loads of marijuana. And
shit at lying.
And then what she said there was...
Because you're saving it all for lying on the podcast.
And then what scared me more than anything is that she said, okay, I want to help you, but stop laughing. Why are you laughing so much? And I was not. If you could see my face, the face I thought I had was sheer horror. I was terrified. And my face, I thought, was like, oh, help me. But when she said, stop laughing, then it really just threw me.
Stop laughing. Put the knife down. Turned out to be like a little Shining thing. But you've been laughing all along.
That's what it was like. That honestly, it freaked me out. I was like, oh my God, am I laughing? I'm not. I'm terrified. Of course I'm not laughing. But
apparently I'm stabbing.
Shaniqua. That's my bad drug experience. Okay. It was not good. I mean, and honestly, since then, I know a lot of people smoke marijuana. It's probably going to be decriminalised here one day in the not too distant future. It's a great drug, by all accounts. Everyone loves it, but it's just not for me. Even now. Even now.
So I don't do well on any hallucinogenics and stuff, really. There's a drug that was legal at the time called salvia.
Oh, yeah.
That I think is now criminalised. Yeah, first time I tried it, I was with a couple of mates and they'd obviously tried it before and I've never even heard of it beforehand. It's just like a really intense hallucinogenic trip, but it only lasts for like a couple of minutes or 3 minutes or so, but it doesn't feel like that. And I had no idea what it was. They were just like, oh, try this. And I was like, okay, what do I do? And I was like, yeah. So you inhale it, you got to hold it in for like 40 seconds.
Jesus.
It's a bit like weed. You just feel a bit disconnected. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll try that.
Oh, I want to feel disconnected.
Yeah, so I breathe it in, held for 40 seconds, nothing. And I was breathing out and I was just about to say, it hasn't worked. I went, yeah. And fuck me. I can't explain much of it. It's kind of like a really intense dream. Like if you try and describe your dream, it's like, I don't know where to start. I can't, but it's so intense. So this for me was a bad trip, but it does sound quite comical when
it's good that you can laugh about it now.
Yeah, this sounds quite comical. So there was there's a red lever arch folder in the corner of the room.
So a red
lever arch folder, and I thought I was part of it and part of the floor. Right. Different parts of the folder, and I just thought that was my life from now on. I was like, oh, I miss being a boy. I'm a red lever arch folder now.
You did not have that thought.
I did, genuinely. And then...
so you thought you had eternity as a red folder?
Yeah, that's my purpose in life. I was a part of a folder. I wasn't even the whole folder. I was like different parts of the folder.
Low self-esteem.
And then I was part of the bottom of Broadstairs High Street in the road area, just outside Rooks.
Rooks the bakery?
Yeah, as part of the road.
Wow, all the butchers.
Yeah. Other than that, I was the concept of fuckabout.
What?
Which I don't know how to describe it now, but what? I was the concept of fuckabout.
Hey, sorry, what does that mean?
I don't know, but
so
I
you
was.
had a thought where you went, I didn't
even know I was tripping at this point. I didn't know I existed. I was just.
You were the concept.
I was the concept of fuckabout.
Fuckabout. Sorry, what does that mean? So how many years ago was this?
This was, I think it was 2009, so 10 years ago.
10 years ago. So you had 10 years to think about it. Are you any closer to understanding the concept of fuckabout?
No. The further I get from it, the less I know of it.
Fuckabout. I mean, that is quite profound. I mean, this podcast is one big fuckabout.
Yeah.
So
I don't even know if it was like, I don't know. I can't explain it. There was just a concept of fuckabout, and I was it. And then I remember being little parts of my hoodie, and then I was beginning to take my hoodie off because I was like sweating out, and I remember itching my like stubble at the time, and it was really painful. I took my hoodie off, and suddenly I was back, and I went back, and they just started laughing at me. I was like, "You bastards!"
Roll me another one.
No, it was not an enjoyable experience.
So, what did you do after that? So you just had this mental trip, horribly mind-bending.
It sounds really comical, but it's actually quite distressing.
So you were the concept of fuckabout for.
I just thought I was going to get a bit stoned.
So then, what did you do? Did you go home after that, or did you just sit in the corner?
I stayed there for a bit, but I went home.
Did they carry on smoking it?
I can't remember if they smoked it that day or not.
After you, they were like, "Whoa, we're not doing that." Really the concept fuckaboutery.
But yeah, it didn't feel like 2 or 3 minutes. It felt like at least hours.
Oh, that's horrible. So how long were you a red folder for?
A long time. I can't really describe it. It's
awful.
just.
Well, I guess a red folder doesn't even have a sense of time.
Yeah.
It just is. It's in the moment like a cat.
But yeah, I've had like bad trips and stuff off weed. I don't know. I just seem to react badly to it, so I get like panic attacks and stuff sometimes. Yeah. And some panic attacks can make you like hallucinate, and yeah, I just don't do well on that. And
is that what it is? Panic attacks make you hallucinate?
Sometimes they do if they're really intense. Yeah,
I think that's why because when I was tripping, I was panicking, and I was tripping. Do you reckon that's what it was?
I don't know, yeah, because I used to try it when I was like teenager, and I had no bad effects of it. I used to like have the giggles, and it was always like kind of pleasurable experience. And then after a certain time, I'd always have bad trips, and I get paranoid, and then the last few times I tried it, I get like hallucinations and bad ones, bad trips.
It's not worth it, is it? It's not worth it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But I know people that smoke it daily and seem to be
It might be like a character type. Maybe I'm just a bit like a insecure, paranoid person.
Yeah, and I think my brain's too fragile. But a friend, Dave, Big Bad Dave.
Oh, Dangerous Dave.
Dangerous Dave. He came up with a quote about weed, and I think he said, "You either do it all the time or don't do it at all." So there's no in between. So you've got tolerance and you do it all the time and you enjoy it, or you don't fuck about with it at all.
Yeah,
I feel maybe that's where we should sit. That's where we sit.
I'm definitely one of the people that if they try it, like even inhale a slight amount, I'm in the corner just knocked out.
Yeah, tripping out.
Yeah,
yeah, I feel the same way.
But yeah, I like alcohol. You know where you are with alcohol.
Yeah,
don't know what I'm gonna say, but I'll worry about that the next day.
Luckily, you don't record it half the time and put it on the internet for everyone to listen to.
Dear Barry, I've asked you a question, but it's been derailed. I left my name, my location, on the age on the email. I feel like this podcast relationship will start growing stale, and this lack of reply is becoming beyond the pale. All I want is to feel you inside me. The love I feel for you so strong that it blinds me. I just need to feel your whole pelvis behind me. It's strange hearing your voice and how insane it drives me. All froze cold, I'm listening to Knackers in the Breeze. You can find them on all platforms. I like iTunes and Spotify.
Right, so for this section of the podcast, we've invited Emily to join us because I have a question for both of you guys. Right, so for those who don't know who Emily is, she was on episode number 9 with us. She was our special guest, and she's my special GF.
Your special one? Do you have a not special one as well?
Well, I do go gluten-free, which is my GF normally. So
well, we talked about this.
I was just like...
Cat's out of the bag.
So my question for you guys is, if there was a zombie apocalypse that has just started now,
this is my dream happening.
what would be your guys' plan of action or plans of action? Would you work together? Would you do you already have a plan?
But it depends. Are we together when it happens? Then yes. If we're not, I probably wouldn't make my way to you.
Say,
No,
but
it's fine because you do not factor into my plan. I have one already.
Well, there we go. I would find you
Just to tell
just
me.
to end you. What is your plan?
My plan. I have one particular plan. I mean, let's be honest.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Every plan has a flaw. I'm not saying it's a perfect plan, but I have.
But I think as well,
I have a plan.
Is it silly to just have one plan? Because what kind of zombies are we talking about?
So Walking Dead zombies, maybe. Do they run? They run a bit, don't they?
As and when the writers decide.
They're not like 28 days later zombies who are super fast.
So like they walk sort of fastish, and people get wise. It's like Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3.
Right. As long as you got your wits about you, I think you'll be okay.
To me, in my head, they are the Walking Dead type zombies. So they're a definite threat.
And it's the humans that are the threat to some extent as well, and scarce supplies and things. I don't know if I mean, I want to hear your plan.
Do you have a plan?
Yeah.
Yeah. I scope everywhere I go out.
What, even like
everywhere?
Now? Right now?
Well, no, because I've been here before, so it's not like it's fresh.
No, I
to
mean
me.
like now. Like in this part of your life.
Yeah, no, all the time. Like, everywhere we go.
Tomorrow, if you went somewhere you've never been before.
Yeah, I would scope out.
What were you telling me the other day? You was like in the bedroom. You were just like, "Oh, I'm glad you're there because if there was a zombie apocalypse happen now, that's beneficial to our plan."
Oh God!
Yeah,
what, your bait?
And I always like it. I feel secure when the blinds are down because I think if a zombie apocalypse were to happen overnight and we wake up and we don't know anything's happened,
You're
just
safe?
the fact that we're not completely safe, but there's like a bit of a barrier, isn't there?
Yeah.
They're not going to necessarily see the lights or people moving around.
I think as well,
as opposed to having like open windows or uncovered windows without a blind.
No, you're right.
So I just like to. I like that certain sense of like security.
They're group
with
horde mentality, aren't they? So if one of them saw you flailing around in the living room doing whatever, he'll come over to the window. They'll start following. Before you know it, you're surrounded, and the only way is up through the chimney. That's not my plan.
Right. So if it happened right now, say it's us three sitting here right now, and boom, suddenly it happened. There's a horde that starts coming through the end of the garden. There, what is your plan of action be? Where do you ultimately want to end up, and what is your ultimate plan?
Okay, so I don't know if you know, but I went to boarding school. I wasn't a boarder, I was a day pupil, but I did go to boarding school. Okay. So my plan of action is to head there. It's a massive stone building. It's got big brick 10-foot parameter walls around it, around the majority of the property.
It's still open, is it? It still exists.
It still exists.
There might
it's still
be
open.
zombies there already.
Well, we'd have to, as I'm saying, not every plan. I'm not saying it's an immediate safe haven. You'd have to clear it of the zombies. But in terms of like supplies, security, it's quite an ideal base. It's in the middle of town. Like I said, there's flaws. There's flaws. But as a base, once you've cleared it, it's got the parameter walls. It's got living quarters because of all the borders. Every single floor is sealable because every floor has like keypad locks on them. There's a sanatorium for if you get sick. So there's medical supplies there. There's a shooting range.
Fucking hell.
So,
really?
Yeah, there's a shooting range.
Okay.
So there's equipment there.
I'm changing my plan.
The main building is on one side of the road, but because it was a boarding school, it has quarters on the other side of the road. There is an underground tunnel, so you've got to get you to the other side if need be. So you've got an automatic. You can't get the main doors or anything.
Did you go to school at Buckingham Palace?
Is there a flag?
Yeah, it's a flag. It's got turrets.
What?
This has turned into a completely different question.
Has it got a horse guard?
No, it doesn't have a horse guard.
Wow.
But yeah, it's all completely.
You
can get it on lockdown.
Where is
basically. It's in Ramsgate.
Wow.
For those of you who don't know, that's a couple of towns from where we're recording this. Like 10-minute drive in normal conditions. I know that in a zombie apocalypse it wouldn't necessarily be a 10-minute drive, but it's a
bikes as a cycle.
Yeah.
We've got 2 bikes.
But it's somewhere.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's somewhere to aim to for an immediate base.
Okay. Right, Barry, have you got anything in mind?
What? No. I'm not as good as that. So I don't really have a location that I want to end up. Mine's more about biding time to find the location.
Wherever you place your hat.
Yeah, I'm going to toss my
Which is
hat.
usually in a zombie's mouth.
Yeah. Give something to gnaw on while I run away. I'd probably get in the car. And then not far from here, there's hot air balloon centre. So I'd go there.
What? Where?
Not far.
What? But where?
Belgium.
Google it. No, it's quite far. It's in the Kentish countryside.
But what part of Kent?
Sort of towards Ashford.
Oh, it's not that far.
Yeah, it's not that far. It's rural. Rural, which part of the reason I like to go there.
That's a good point. Like I said, the school has a flaw in respect it is in town, but I don't know if there's a perfect place unless you actually can build yourself a properly.
That's the thing. So I think I'd get a hot air balloon. Quick, give me your best hot air balloon.
People still selling stuff. Still an attendant going, come in.
It takes
have a
quite
balloon
a while.
ride.
If you're like surrounded by a horde of zombies and you're just waiting slowly for this hot air balloon to inflate.
What I would do, I'd phone ahead.
Slowly drifting.
I'd phone ahead and be like, right, have you heard about the apocalypse? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Start filling one up now, your best one, and I'll be there in 30 minutes. Phone down.
Foolproof.
Right? I don't want to think about if the electricity's gone down. But then I head there as quick as I can.
Do you think in this circumstance the zombies are upon us, people are still just carrying out their general day-to-day jobs? I'm like, I'll be there soon, but I've just got some insurance to sell. I can't leave till 5:30.
I've got to wait for the postman. We've got an Amazon delivery.
It's late. Well, I mean, I don't know. I like to think that people will be, because they're so panicked they don't know what to do. So focus on the one thing they do know.
Got like the Blitz spirit.
Yeah, there's serenity in order.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, through discipline comes freedom. So,
Just saying words now.
So I'd probably, cheers, thank you for still doing your job. I'll be there soon. Put the phone down. In the car. Foot down. Head to Lidgeon Hill. Get out. It's nearly inflated. Jump in. Away it goes.
Where does it go?
Wherever the wind takes me.
Into the North Atlantic.
Into the channel. But yeah, and that's my plan up until that point. And then I'm just buying time. I'm just safe then. There's no zombies.
I think we have like different versions of the word safe.
There's no zombies up there
that you know of. They could be really into
Flying
like
zombies.
paragliding or something. We don't know.
Oh, those ones.
It's a hobby. They got a zombie salesman.
I know this breaks.
They're not Ben and
commandment.
Ben the Flower Pot Men. They're zombies.
This breaks commandment number 3. 2. But we could monitor. That's a script idea. So that's for sale. If you're listening to this and you would like to buy the rights to that film, Paragliding Dead, or whatever you call it, that's for sale.
Oh, one other thing as well. Sorry, just in respect to my better plan than yours.
Subjective.
It's a fully stocked kitchen as well. It has to cater for hundreds of people, so it's always got. So you're going to have a lot of supplies.
I didn't mention
You're getting schooled here, Barry. At a boarding school.
I mentioned in my car, I've always got toffees, small spearmints, Orbit chewing gum, and water in the back. So, what's your answer, Ryan?
I have full on camping equipment in mine.
Yeah.
And
goes without
charity
saying.
shop.
Yeah. That's more due to a lack of space than the fact that I'm like, but it's still there.
It comes in handy.
But it could be handy.
Yeah.
Right, I think trying to survive a zombie apocalypse is never going to work. It's inevitable that you are going to become a zombie.
You just want to be taken straight away then?
No.
My plan is king of the zombies.
You
Get bit and straight. Well, I show them how they're walking, run, get some weapons. If you all kind of work together, you could be an ultimate horde rather than just kind of a zombie apocalypse went.
It's a brilliant idea on paper.
I'll be the zombie king.
No, it isn't. How are you going to become the zombie king? Why
I'll show them the way whilst I'm still human.
Why are they going to eat you though?
Why they just attack you?
I don't know. I'll show them the way. I'll reason.
When you keep
with
saying
the
I'll
zombie.
show them the way,
I'll reason with the zombie. Heist them with a
Zombies
bit of
are
human
around
meat and
with
then just like throw it onto
their diplomatic skills and reasoning.
can zombies read?
I'll teach them to read.
Oh my god!
To get their own like little zombie hieroglyphics. Hieroglyphs.
Oh, have you ever seen a film called Cold Bodies?
No.
Oh,
Oh.
that's a bit of a conversation cold as that.
Is it that same premise?
Would you have to sum it up briefly?
It's
No, we're not going to talk about it.
it's Romeo and Juliet, but zombies.
No.
And there's a human girl, and her love basically
Is the king of the zombies.
is the cure, and so a zombie falls in love with her, and in
Isn't
doing
this
so,
Twilight?
In doing so, he
they were vampires, not zombies.
He like relearns his humanity, and so do like the zombies around him. We should watch it. Yeah.
Maybe that's my plan then.
It has Nicholas Hoult in it.
So maybe I could turn everyone back from a zombie into a human with humanity's love. Like, that's what they tried to do in the 60s, but there were no zombies.
I see where you're going with this, and I like the idea. I really do. I just feel like it's a bit ahead of its time. I feel like it's not.
I feel like
work.
It's more weird that Ryan's being the optimistic one here.
That is.
This is based on my cynical view that the whole world is going to go to shit.
Yeah, because you were straight away like
more than it is already.
There's no point fighting them.
I can't wait for the zombie apocalypse. I feel like I'll thrive in that situation.
Going back to that film. About, he's still dead. But he's getting warmer.
Yeah. Is it called Cold Bodies or is Warm Bodies or Cold Bodies?
It's Warm Bodies.
It's Warm Bodies.
Yeah.
I didn't think Cold Bodies sounded quite right.
But John Malkovich, great lineup. Okay, sorry, yeah, I've just derailed the conversation to go back to that because I just feel that I really want to watch it.
You should watch it.
Does sound good. Does sound good.
Right, so if you guys want to tell us your plans for the zombie apocalypse, then get in touch with us on Facebook, search for Knackers in the Breeze, or email us knackersinthebreeze@gmail.com. That's KNACKERS inthebreeze@gmail.com.
And if you're so inclined, please let us know which of the zombie plans was the best.
Hey Siri, text Mum to say I'll be around later for tea.
Okay, text has been sent.
Hey Siri, what's the weather going to be like later in Aberdeen?
The weather in Aberdeen this evening will be cloudy at 12 degrees.
Hey Siri, what's the capital of Norway?
The capital of Norway is Oslo.
Hey Siri, what's the highest mountain on Earth?
The highest mountain is Mount Everest.
Hey Siri, what's the best thing that's ever been created?
Loading Knackers in the Breeze, the podcast.
It's time for the weekly episodic game. What a great intro that was. Everyone's favourite, apart from Emily, who's with us playing the game, doing what she hates. But this is the first ever time we've had a game sent in from somebody else. Believe it or not. This is not my game.
It's not your game.
It's not my game.
There's a chance I might like it.
Even the jingle. So this game was made by somebody who shares my flesh and blood, my twin brother. So you might not like it because the apple has not fallen far from the tree.
I'm optimistic.
So we are very similar. We're born at kind of the same time. So he thinks
who's older?
That's be myself. Be myself.
By 3 years.
You hear this game. So his game, well, he's done the jingle, and he's definitely inspired, I think, by my games. We think alike. This is called Town Name or Tone Name. And his name is Tony. So is it a town name or a Tony name?
Is it a town name? Or is it a town name? Did I make it up? Or is it a real place that real people live?
That is the best jingle you've ever had.
He's already made more effort with the jingle.
Yeah. That's more effort than I've ever put into anything. So here we go. This is town name or Tony name. Here we go.
Are you playing as well? Do you know the answers?
Oh, I've got the answers.
Okay.
So here we go. I'm going to start.
You could like not look and do a 3-way game, or
no? Unfortunately, the way it's written out, and I already know them.
Okay.
Are you ready? So I'll just start. I will what you say is tone or town.
Okay. I think I've got that.
And keep the score between you because I want
pen and paper.
Can you? I'll forget.
Okay. First town. Penistone.
That's town.
That's a town name.
I can reveal it's a town name. Yeah. Well done. That's
that one. Is that like near the northwest or Midlandsy?
I think it's more Midlandsy. Second town. So that's 1-1. Second town. Chode.
What a town.
I'm gonna go tone name.
I'll agree this time, but
we'll always follow your heart. Just follow. I can reveal it's a real place in Spain.
Ooh.
So probably pronounced Chode.
Oh.
Which is
so we're not restricted to England.
Oh no! No,
I was
no.
Right.
Okay,
you could have chodes all over the world.
Third, there probably are. There are. Third one, ding dong.
Ding dong.
Ding dong.
I want it to be a town name. I'm going to go town.
I'm going to go Tony name.
I can reveal that it is indeed a real town in central Texas. Ding dong.
Why? What? Who comes up with that town name? They got
it has no real
San Antonio.
Like you said, there's just like maybe Asian.
Ding dong.
Ding dong. I don't know. Next town name.
Kind of say Ryan and I have seen a town or an area in Australia, and it's called Bellend with a little tiny silent en on the end.
Little Bellend.
Bellend.
When next time you're there, go there.
Yeah.
Next one, Glubbington.
Tonington. I really want that to be a town name.
Because it's not that weird, is it? It's not,
no, I'm gonna go town name. I reckon
Glubbington.
It's
just a fun name to say.
Glubbington Stanley.
It is a Tony name. Because it
makes sense.
I think he threw that one in to get you. What are the scores? 3-2.
There are scores and there are numbers, but maybe that's part of the game.
It doesn't matter.
It's not.
Next name, Middlefart.
Town name.
I'll give you a tone name.
I can reveal it's a town in Denmark.
Wow.
So again, probably pronounced nothing like that. Middlefart.
Have you got everyone right so far?
I think you have.
I can't remember if I might have got one wrong. I don't know.
I don't know either. It doesn't matter, guys.
You can put it up.
Let's call it even.
No.
This one.
I mean, I'm definitely in the lead. There's no question about that.
Yeah. This one will really put the cat amongst the pigeons, as they say. Shotgunningham. Shotgunningham.
Say it again.
Tone.
Shotgunningham.
I'm going for a tone name.
You both go for a tone. Can I ask why?
Yeah.
It sounds too plausible.
Right. So you think he's trying to throw you off?
Yeah.
He is. He made that up, apparently. I don't believe that doesn't exist, but apparently not. Next name, Roasted Hollow. Roasted Hollow.
Yeah, I think that's town name. That sounds like it could be the home of a zombie apocalypse starting.
Roasted Hollow. Tale of the Zombie King.
To roast your hollow. I don't know what that means.
Oh God. Oh.
You can edit that.
I won't.
That's Tony's name. That's a tone name.
It's a tone name.
It's a tone name. Right, we're very near the end.
Maybe we
Last
should
one.
rename our house. Welcome to Roasted Hollow.
Welcome to Tony name.
Okay. This is the final one. I think it's a tie.
No. It can't
let's
be.
Call it a tie. Let's call it sudden death.
Yeah.
It's not.
Gaylordsville.
Town name.
Tony name.
This is the tiebreaker. Are you sure? Gaylordsville.
I'm sticking with my gut instinct.
Your gut was right.
Yeah,
It's a town in Connecticut. I'm the winner. Gaylordsville, all one word. Gaylordsville. Well done.
You won it with Gaylordsville.
Well done.
Is it a town name? Or is it a town name? Did I make it up? Or is it a real place that real people live?
Brilliant.
Thank you for that, Tony. We definitely welcome more.
I enjoyed that, Tony.
It's good, wasn't it?
Fan games.
More fan games.
More fan art. More fan games. More fan songs. Just take over, why don't you?
Eventually, fans just...
Here's the microphone, take it.
We'll post it to you, give us your address, we'll send you the mic, you should record the podcast, send it back in, we'll do fan art.
Knackers in the breeze. Knackers in the breeze.
Right, we've got another question in from another podcast again. So this is from a podcast called Talk Your Shit.
Hey guys, this is Natasha and Stephanie from the Talk Your Shit podcast, and we have a Would You Rather question for the Knackers in the Breeze podcast. So our questions are, would you rather not be able to shower for the rest of your life or not be able to clean your teeth? And Natasha's question is, would you rather find true everlasting love or cure cancer? All right, that's our question, so we're waiting on your answers.
Wow. Talk your shit.
Right, what was the first one?
Would you rather
never shower
never brush your teeth?
Both
those are not good options.
No.
I mean, I've met people that have done both options, and you cross the street to get away from them.
I have a real thing about like dental hygiene though, and I hate people with bad teeth.
Yeah.
So
oh no.
Hate people, hate their
I
personality.
hate them. I hate them. They just gross me out. Don't want to talk to them. Don't want to look at them. Don't want to exist with them.
So you'd be the shower then?
So for me, I wouldn't say it's an easy decision, but I would
never shower.
I'd probably.
Are we getting this out there that you can't bathe in a bath either?
No, I think that's too easy. No, that's
Can you
silly.
use deodorant?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I would just cover myself.
I would just
in...
deo shower every day.
I remember at school there was a lad that basically didn't shower much, but he used to cover it up with like a cheap deodorant, and you could always smell it. It was.
But do you remember when you didn't, as a dare, See how long you can go without showering.
I did. Yeah.
How long did you do? About 2 months.
This is interesting. I've not heard this
You've not
story
heard
before.
that?
No.
I think it was like most of the summer holiday.
Yeah, it was definitely. I remember it being close to 2 months, so 6 weeks would make sense. Yeah.
I'm seeing in a whole
So
new
he
light
went
right now.
6 weeks without showering, and we were out every day skateboarding.
I'd say it's disgusting, but it's not that dissimilar to what he does now.
Oh,
You grubby little. What's it?
Shower.
Zombie King.
I've got to smell like the zombies, all right? I've got to get amongst them.
You're always ready to get amongst them.
That's why I've got to be the king of the zombies. I've got to smell worse than they are.
Death.
Yeah.
Literal death.
Maybe you don't even need to become a zombie. They'll just smell you and like think he's one of ours.
Yeah, you have to walk
It
amongst
just fits right in.
We should coronate him with his own toe jam.
So yeah, I think I'd probably I'd lose the showering.
Yeah,
and be able to brush my
You
teeth.
can always cover it. You can always cover the shower.
Can you use like wipes? Is that cheating?
I don't think it is cheating. I think it's like kind of a bathing with water, isn't it? Or showering.
Well, in that case,
bathing with water.
Definitely that, because I just use Dettol
Yeah.
floor wipes. Extreme. They might corrode your skin
Kills
slightly.
99.9% of bacteria.
Yeah, and it just floss
If
right
you never
between
brush
the
your teeth, you will eventually get like gum disease and your teeth will fall out and you probably get like further diseases. Can you get diseases from just not bathing?
Almost
or
probably.
just using wipes or
You might
whatever?
be able to get like fungal infections maybe,
Yeah.
but I still
What's
don't think it'll be
worse?
anything as bad
Nothing
as
that
like
Losing your
Dettol
teeth
floor
and
wipe.
getting infections that way.
I think
you
your
can
teeth-
die
I'd
from
go-
like your teeth if it goes into like your gums.
Yeah, your
and,
teeth would fall out. Which
Yeah, I
is
think I'd
already,
choose the lack of shower.
And you can
then.
still look at it like presentable if you
Have it
brush your
no
teeth
different.
without having showered. Whereas if you've showered but your teeth are manky, that's all people are going to see, isn't it?
I'm with you.
Right, second question is would you rather cure cancer or
This is
find
really
true love?
selfish. If you choose the love option, think how selfish you'll be.
I'm a selfish person, so I'm okay with
But
it.
you're literally killing not even just millions, hundreds of
You're
millions.
not necessarily killing them, you're just not saving them.
And then think of the millions that will die, but they maybe will die anyway, but you could save them. But not just that, the families, the kids, the loved ones that are all affected as
Yeah, but
well.
what if you have found true love and then you have to like it's saying I won't
What-
have true love? It's like that's an abstract concept. But
Don't
what
we-
if you found it and then you're having to sacrifice that
It's
person?
better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I don't think that's true
If you
either.
choose the true love option and then your partner gets cancer.
Oh, that's another film idea. So I'm trying to monetize every idea.
Yeah, whereas those people,
that's-
it's very sad, but you don't know them. You know,
Yeah, it's pretty sad. No, but we will know more people. Imagine as we get older,
Yeah.
and you had the chance, and you went nah.
but then what happens if we eventually cure every disease?
Too many people.
The world is already overpopulated as it is.
There's loads of room.
It's
You've been
not.
to the hot air balloon centre in Kent. There's
You can't cure
fields.
beheading. I think it's just going to have to come to that. When
Yeah.
she gets to a certain age,
Yeah.
off goes your foreskin.
What age
and
is
then
that?
your head.
What age would that be? 50?
41.
So you get to 41 and you die.
Get killed, yeah.
There we go. Problem solved.
Maybe a bit older.
I mean,
Can we have a bit older? That's not that
I
far
feel
away
like,
from me.
yeah, that's like,
Well, I'm not enforcing it. I'm just suggesting it.
I'd rather.
I'm not the Zombie King just
No one's
yet.
going to listen to the smelly zombie king. He's going, let's kill everyone at 41.
Can that not become my nickname, please?
Yeah, I would nobody would listen to you.
Can you imagine? My mum's having a birthday party soon, and there's going to be like family friends there. I'm like, this is my boyfriend. You haven't met him? This is the smelly zombie king.
Is that a human arm he's got hanging out of his mouth there?
Yeah, zombie king. He's just been teaching them arithmetic.
That's why he's part of the fucking monarchy.
You're not part monarchy.
Royal blood.
Yeah, toe
Royal
jam.
smelly toe jam blood.
Blood coming out of your orifices because they're rotten to the core.
Right, I think that's
Okay.
both questions answered.
Wait, did we decide on anything though? I'm going true love. Sorry, people. I'm sorry, but
going cancer.
I'm
Oh, you're
going.
going to true love because that's like the ultimate.
But Rye, you won me over with your argument by saying that what if your true love then gets cancer? You go, no.
And then if you choose the curing cancer one, then you'll immediately fall out of love with that person. It'll be kind of for nothing.
But you know that they're protected from cancer.
But then
nothing else.
But then you don't love them anymore because there's no
And you
true
don't
love.
really care if they survive or not.
Good. Doesn't matter.
Fuck it, kill her.
Less stress.
I don't give a shit.
I'd kill my true love and then kill cancer.
Question answered. Right, so that was a question from Talk Your Shit podcast. If you want to check them out, then they're on iTunes, Spotify, and all that. So
Talk your shit.
Talk your shit.
You have listened to another exceptional podcast episode of Knackers in the Breeze. If you want to ask Ryan and Barry a question, send a voice note via private message on Facebook. Just search for Knackers in the Breeze. Join them again soon in their quest for philosophical enlightenment.
One episode, amazing questions sent in again. Great
amazing
questions from you.
Sent in. We've had a game.
We've had a
whole game sent in.
That's possibly changed the course of the entire show.
Yeah.
So any games, send them in. Questions in. Art in. Send it in. How can they send it in?
knackersinthebreeze@gmail.com. Send it in that way, or go on our Facebook, Knackers in the Breeze, post it on the wall, or send it in as a private message.
And finally cemented, or we're starting to build the Knackers in the Breeze commandments, commandments, depending where you're from. So we were up to 4 that we live and die by.
Yeah.
Number 1, talk about Knackers in the Breeze and don't discuss Fight Club.
Yep.
Number 2, never dilly-dally.
Never dilly-dally.
Which
that's very important.
It is important.
Yeah.
We
like
need
absolutely unacceptable.
We need to listen to that more because we fucking. Number 3, stop monetizing hypothetical superpowers.
Yep.
And number 4, always measure yourself before proclaiming your size.
Yep. We could release New Testament to the Bible with those commandments.
Mm-hmm.
Could they replace Moses'?
Well, I feel like that's the foundation on which to then write the Bible. Once we've got the full 10.
People could become Knacolytes.
That's good.
Knacolytes. Oh, God.
What would the first book be called?
The New Wind, The New Breeze.
Oh, a fresh breeze.
The Book of Knacolytes, The New Breeze.
With her finger and further in the shape of an L on her forehead.
Okay, go on then. What would you imagine?
That voice does sound like familiar.
On her forehead.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Well, you start going and we don't stop coming. It'll make
So much to do, so much to say.
Are you breathing in constantly?
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Pain gets hard, but it gets strong. So much to do, so much to do, so much work, so much wrong with taking the back streets.
You never know if you don't go.